We had the same idea.
We do. And that's so awesome. Great minds, right? Well,
This
thank
is
you.
not like we didn't check that off. So that was like it's a coincidence that we're married.
I love it. I love it. Well, it's so good to finally like connect with you face to face over Instagram.
Yes, yes, very, very nice to be joining you, and I'm very excited. So thank you for hosting this live to talk about hacking the code. So yeah,
Absolutely. So, why don't we just dive right in? So, for everyone that's joining in, I'm Dr. Lauren, and I am the founder and I run Think Dyslexia's account. And what I love to do is bring people on to my platform so we can interview, we can talk about dyslexia. And I really want to put the spotlight on Gea because she wrote an awesome um, would you call it a young adult novel or a graphic novel? How do you categorize your book?
yeah, that's a good question because I would say it's a graphic novel, but there's different types of graphic novels.
Right.
So it's not like the what you have like the comic. It's not like the comic book type of graphic novel where you
Right.
have only pictures and just the balloons with text. This does have more text, but it is not a it's it's not a chapter book and it's not a graphic novel. It's like in between, I would
Right.
say. And it's modeled by the same format as Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Exactly.
So yes, so it has like an illustration, I think, almost on every page or every other page. So there's like 80, more than 80 illustrations in the book, all from Mats Johan Ågard, who collaborated with me in that so wonderfully. So he made all the illustrations. There are more than 80 of them in there. So yeah. So I would call it a graphic novel, Diary of a Wimpy Kid type of chapter book.
No, and I think that that's a great thing for our audience to kind of to set the tone for this interview because as I was reading it, I definitely got the Diary of a Wimpy Kid feel. And I also know Mads's work. So I was like, I feel him as I'm reading this. So it was,
Yes.
I loved it. So
Yeah.
why don't we dive into our questions? Because I know the audience wants to learn more about hacking the code.
Yes.
So the first question, Gea. So everyone, this is Gea, and she's the author of Hacking the Code, and Mads is
Yes.
the illustrator. There's the book right there. If you haven't gotten it, please, please, please buy it. It's on Amazon, right? We can get it on
Yes.
Amazon.
Yeah.
It's awesome. So, Gea, for our audience who hasn't read Hacking the Code, can you give us a synopsis and share a little bit about Keys? Wasn't that the main character's name? Am I pronouncing his name right?
Yes. Case.
Case. That's what it is.
Case.
Case.
Yes. Case has a little case on the front of his shirt. That's like the case. That's what Mott's that was his idea to put it on here. So his name is Case. You spell it Kees,
Yes.
but you
Yes.
say case.
Case.
So
Okay.
like
Got
a bookcase or a like a pen case or something like that. Yeah, so Case is the main character of the book, and Case is a fifth grader, and he is a very ingenious, joyful, happy camper. The book is about his adventures in elementary school. He's the founder of a secret friends group. It's very secret, so maybe you should read the book to to read more about the secret friends group. But it's a wonderful group of friends that he gets together, and he to get into that friends group you have to do a trick or a prank or a like a fundraiser or something, and that's all in the book. There's really fun little things that they think about, and so he has this friends group. He's a prankster at school. Together with his best friend Pete, he's doing all kinds of like shenanigans.
Right.
He's being able to do an explosion of milk cartons in the girls' bathroom, and they pranked the principal a few times, and then one day they think have the best prank, and they use a remote control to zip the TV. That the teachers have like a teacher conference in one of the classrooms, and behind the window, they, with the remote, like I got with the remote, they zipped it to another channel several times, and the teachers and the principal didn't know what it was, and then finally they got discovered because they were giggling too hard about the fun they had.
Right.
And because they were in the principal office several times before in the past years, gearing up to 5th grade, the principal had it with them, and they got a different punishment than he would normally give. And so after a deliberation, he decided that trash duty is not gonna do it for them, because they didn't mind trash duty, the boys didn't. But he had girls, the principal had girls in his for a punishment in his room, and these girls are kind of like a little bit like snobby and a little bit against the boys, or it's a little bit the girls against the boys from their classroom. And so the principal says, well, the girls wanted to write an essay, so why don't you two write an essay? I think that's a better punishment for you. And then, so there they are, totally like shocked, because, Case is dyslexic, and now he has to write a 2-page essay for his punishment, and he has 2 weeks to do it. So then the book goes into like, he doesn't know what to write, and Pete, who is like a good writer, and he doesn't have any problems with it, so he finishes it in no time. And Case is struggling, and he asks his mom. His teacher wants to talk to him and might be helping him, and he can't go out in recess unless he finished his essay. So that's a bummer, and so he can't go into recess. Finally he speaks with and he doesn't know what to write about, because the assignment was to write about something that was the hardest thing he had ever done. And so he's like, what do I have to write? And he's dyslexic, so he has a lot of trouble writing, and so he doesn't get any further. And then after he talks to his secret friends group about it, and they try to help him. And then on Sunday he goes to his grandpa, and he talks with his grandpa, and that was really helpful for him.
That was a turning point, for sure.
That was a turning point, because his grandpa is also dyslexic. And so
I actually want to stop you for a second, because I don't want you to give too much of the book away. I know it's really, really important. You wanted to let everyone know all the details, but that actually leads me to my next question.
Yes,
so
go ahead.
Is kind of a societal question. So the part that resonated me with the most was when you talked about with the principal. When he asked Case to his punishment, which is crazy to associate those two, but I guess being dyslexic, writing was a punishment for him. So having him write that essay, the principal realized just how hard reading and writing was for him, because he had to hack the code, right?
Yeah.
And so that was a perspective turning point that I felt in the story. And so my question for you as the author, how do you think we as a society can get educators and administrators and folks in the community to have that perspective-taking aspect, to recognize that these learning differences are challenging for folks?
They're real.
Yeah.
They're real, but you don't see them. It's not like you're wearing glasses, or you're, because you can't see well, you wear glasses so you see it, but you don't see this necessarily. So it's real. What you are doing and what I am trying to do is really important to spread the word, and spread the word through the community. But what I try to do with the book is that when you know that your child is dyslexic, you, like I did as a mom of a dyslexic son, you try to find all and every information there is. And
Right.
there's a lot. Right now, there's a lot of information available and a lot of people that can help you, like you can do, um, um, to go through the motions of getting help for your child. And, but that's at the point that you know that your child is dyslexic. But
Right.
a lot of people, a lot of kids, a lot of parents, a lot of teachers don't know why a child is struggling. And they haven't heard or found the connection with dyslexia and or with dysgraphia or with, one of the
Dyscalculia.
other
Right.
learning differences, I call them. Um, and with the book, I hope to have to write like I call it a Trojan horse. So it's a children's book. It's a fun book to read, I think. Don't you think? It's a
Yeah.
fun
Oh,
book
yeah.
to
It was
read.
a really easy read. The visuals add a lot of, I mean, yes, it was quite an easy read and it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it.
Yes. So I try to make it an easy and fun book to read, so that every child is interested in reading it. And so you start at the beginning where they don't know that they have dyslexia. And
Right.
then, or a teacher that reads it with the class, or parents read it with read it with their child. And then some kids might recognize themselves, or a teacher might recognize the struggles
Mm-hmm.
and the emotions that come with, like struggling in school because of dyslexia, and is more open to and is going to seek more information about dyslexia. And that's
Right.
what I tried with the book, to be at the top end and not the tail end. The tail end is like getting the services and finding, like the testing, and that's the
The special
middle,
ed process.
the special, yeah. But before you get there, how do you find out? How do you know
Right.
why am I struggling? Why is my child struggling? Why is this child in my classroom struggling?
Right. Right.
And that's where I hope the book has a platform and has a function. Yeah.
Well, and I also feel like, so this is my second book from an author who was actually writing explicitly about a student with dyslexia, and I really feel like representation's huge. So I
Yes.
talk about that with the BIPOC community. Black and brown students need to see Black and brown teachers. Well, kids with learning differences need to see themselves represented in literature. And the thing I
Yeah.
loved about how you depicted Case was he didn't seem like this, I don't know, negative kid that had this
No.
ailing disability that was so crippling. He was just not happy. He was a happy, upbeat, like jocular prankster. I mean, to me, like a fifth grade boy that I probably taught a few years ago, but then
Yes.
when it came down to the task of writing and reading, it was like, what can I do? Let's make everyone laugh, like let's
Yes.
change the channel. Like, and
Yeah.
that's a sign that teachers, I feel,
Yes.
can, behavior and showing different struggles. That's a
Yes.
sign where we as educators need to pick up patterns. Like, oh, I'm
Yes.
noticing every time we're writing, the student keeps wanting to go to the bathroom or keeps,
Yes. Yeah.
trying to throw paper airplanes or whatever that is. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I loved how you made him to be a normal kid, and I hate to use the word normal, an
Yes.
atypical child.
Yeah.
that
Do they exist?
yes, but I mean, I think that any child, if they're not dyslexic, would read this and say, "Oh wow, I can see the perspective of my peer. Maybe this is why my friend is struggling,
Yes.
in fifth grade or
Yes.
or whatever the case is." And
Yes.
I loved it. I thought it was such an easy read. I personally feel like, well, this actually leads me to my next question because I want you to answer this. I feel like this book can benefit so many people, but if someone said to you, one audience, who would you think would benefit from this book the most? The educators, the parents, or the students?
Oh boy, I can't choose. I can't choose
It's a
because
hard question, right?
yes, no. Because I heard from like, so I heard from kids that really loved the book. I had a third grade class. I had read it before the manuscript, before it was coming out. And I look what I got from them.
Aww, that
Like,
must have
oh,
been
the
hard.
thank you cards, like, like I love the book, and they all wrote something. So I and this was a third grade class. So this is what you talked about, empathy.
Right.
There were a lot of kids in this class, and of course they don't have a learning difference, but they loved the book. And some of them also said, like, I understand why, another, like a friend of mine might struggle now a little bit better. And I had some educators read my book, and one actually said in a review, like, I am thinking of, well, she was out of the teaching for a while, and she was thinking of going back into teaching. And she said, I am going to treat the kids that are struggling a whole different way
Differently. Right.
since I read the book. So, and I had text from parents, like, and LinkedIn posts, and in Instagram and so on, and on Amazon, reviews from parents that said, oh my gosh, my child is dyslexic and he never wanted to read a book, and he finished it in 2 days and he loves it, and he wants to know
Right.
if there's a sequel. And and they're very enthusiastic about it. So I think it's for everyone. I hope that everyone can take their part out of it that is important for them. So
No,
yeah.
I agree with you. I know that was a tough one to be like just one audience. And I do agree, all three audiences benefit. And what I also feel like is there's that perspective from the parents where maybe they didn't realize, because I know in my experience being a teacher, when I did teach in the classroom at a private dyslexia school, some of the parents would say, I didn't realize that I was dyslexic until
Yes.
my child came to this school and I realized his struggles or her struggles were mine. I just thought I was lazy, or I just was told I'm not working hard enough, or whatever the case might be.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So it will be very recognizable for a lot of parents too. Yes.
definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I want to ask you, because I really want to understand the inspiration. So I had interviewed an author a few months ago, and she wrote an amazing book, but she didn't have a personal connection to dyslexia. So I thought that the story was actually really powerful, considering she'd done a lot of research on it. Now,
Yeah.
I feel, and I think you had mentioned in this interview so far, that you have lived experience. So does
Yes.
one of your child or children have dyslexia?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
One of my sons, I have two sons, and one of my sons is dyslexic, and I've been the dyslexic mom, hawk, advocate, FBI researcher on everything dyslexia you can find. And I also, later on, when my son was in high school, he's now in college. When my son is in high school, I was actually a parent mentor in the school districts, which is like a volunteer function where parents can contact me, and there were a few other parent volunteers through the special education department, and talk to another parent who was going through a process of a child in special education. So I've talked to other parents and helped them just like hash through all
Right.
everything that happened, and also emotionally, and like preparing for IP meetings and that kind of stuff. So yeah.
That's great. So, I mean, how does your son feel now knowing you wrote a book? Like, is it kind of like, wow, mom's really impacting so many people out there? I mean, he's got to be
Yeah.
really proud of you.
Yes, he is. Yeah. Yeah. So he follows on a distance because he's very busy in college, but I see him, on Instagram liking my posts and so
Oh, that's
on.
nice.
So yeah.
That's
So
so
yeah,
nice.
he doesn't live home. He's away in college. So, but he's very proud. Yes, absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
great.
And he recognized, he recognizes a lot of the things in the book, because it's not autobiography. It is, you know, like I thought of things that would work well in the setting,
Right.
but it's not so, but it's not autobiographic. But there are a lot of things that he recognizes, of course, because those
Sure.
are the things that I experienced with him going through that, and you know, like, or I heard from other people, you know, like other parents that went through something similar. So
Right.
yeah, he's very proud. Yes,
That's
and
great.
he likes them. So if I don't know if Mats is listening right now, but he really likes the cover and the
Oh, yes.
illustrations. Yeah,
Yes.
because
Yes.
yeah.
Mads does
Matt's
such.
work is amazing.
It's
So
very unique. I remember I told him, I said, I can distinguish your work very clearly.
yes,
Like I know
yeah,
it's his work, and it just
yeah,
it's like his personality.
yes,
You know,
yeah.
I love that.
Yeah,
So
yeah, and Mats is dyslexic, so
he is.
he really understood what I wanted to say and what I wanted to have in the illustrations, what kind of emotions I wanted to convey,
Right.
because he really, you know, he lived them. So yeah,
And so for the audience out there who has not seen, I did do an interview with Mads. Actually, gosh, this is coming on a year ago.
yeah, a long
And
time ago, yeah.
yes, that's on my YouTube channel. And we actually talk about dyscalculia from his lived experiences, but we also talk about dyscalculia from the special educator's perspective too. So
Yeah.
it's an awesome conversation if you're interested. So DM me if you want the link and I will send that to you. So Gea, we are coming to the end of the interview, but I wanted to just ask you one final question. So where can the audience find your book to purchase it?
Yes. Well, it's on Amazon, and it's on Amazon worldwide,
Okay.
wherever Amazon is, you know, offered. And the audio of the ebook, of course, you can get from anywhere. And it's also the local bookstore can order it in the US. The local bookstore could order it for you. You know, like they won't have it in stock because you know you can't have a million books in stock, but the local bookstore is available, is able to order it online for the bookstore itself. Yes.
Okay.
So, and I just heard that Australia now is off where we're able to, Amazon is able to ship it in a few days in Australia now too. So
That's great. I saw your post about that.
yes,
That's awesome.
isn't it amazing?
It really is. What an
yes,
accomplishment. So,
yes.
so Gea, I really want to thank you so much for your time and this discussion. And I really hope that everyone who's listening now and everyone who's listening later, you know, really gets a good sense of what Hacking the Code is about. And I highly recommend everyone reads it. You know, give it to parents or give it to teachers.
Yes.
Give it to the little kids that really, you know, and for anyone. I really feel like this is such an easy, relatable book. And I really enjoyed spending my afternoon with you.
Well, thank you, Lauren, for this opportunity to talk to you on Think Dyslexia. Really appreciate it. And for everyone, yeah, if you read the book, if you have the book, please write a review because that will help other people decide if they like the book, and that will be very helpful for everyone. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Well, have a good afternoon, Gea, and we will be in touch.
Yeah, to everyone. Yes, have a good afternoon.
Bye.
Bye.